10 Strangest Things Discovered in Egypt. Hey guys, welcome to the Daily Tops. After exploring ancient Egyptian structures for over 2 centuries, archaeologists are no closer to discovering the truth behind some of this ancient culture's hidden secrets. If anything, some of our finds have left us with more questions than answers. Keep watching as we count down the 10 strangest things discovered in Egypt. But just before we jump into that, please be sure to click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. Let's get right into it. Number 10. Statues of Segment. Archaeologists discovered hundreds of 1.9-meter tall statues depicting the lion goddess Segment while excavating the temple of King Amenet. As she slaughtered humanity and drank its blood, she rained fiery arrows on our enemies. According to mythology, this collection attributes to what is a terrifying and vindictive gun could number as high as 730, with more being discovered each year. This raises the question of why so many effigies would drain the king's conference so heavily. Almost all of the statues show obvious defacing and intentional damage to the head and face of the Segment. It may have been a display of man's dominance over the goddess that left so much. It may have been a show of power of man's dominion over the goddess that left so many accentuated bodies and our way. Number 9. Khufu's Secret Room. Giza's biggest pyramid, dedicated to the pharaoh Khufu, holds a secret room that has confounded people for decades. There is a narrow 100-foot wide void that extends along the same slanted axis as the one joined to the king's chamber. The discovery was made as part of the Scan Pyramids project, which uses cosmic rays to detect cavities and the construction of massive monolithic structures. This experimental muon radiography picks up tiny subatomic particles that fly off as cosmic radiation bombards us from space. In fact, a half-dozen muons pass through your smartphone screen every second. It is the first large-scale infrastructure to be discovered in ancient pyramids since the 1800s. When we thought we knew everything, the Great Pyramid is still holding plenty of cards close to its chest. Number 8. Seraphim of Saqqara. A strange crib flies beneath the pyramid in Saqqara. We know that at some point, 24 6-carpaguys weighing more than 100 tons each were moved here and hidden. Mummified balls draped in jewels are found within a single solid block of granite that is 4 meters wide, 3 meters tall, and almost 12 meters long. The stone cutting is so accurate that it's hard to believe it could be done with just simple rock tools. The lines are almost completely straight, the angles are sharp and match on both sides, and the surfaces are almost completely flat to a tolerance accepted by modern machining techniques. There's no explanation as to why the boxes are so massive when the pharaohs were buried in tiny sarcophagi that barely fit their bodies, or why they're buried deep underground. Number 7. Unknown electromagnetic energy. It isn't a scene from Stargate Bond, but it may very well be the case that the Great Pyramid of Giza can focus electromagnetic energy into the chambers hidden inside. Theoretical physicists came across it by accident, and it could actually help with future nanoparticle research, even though the ancient Egyptians were not aware of it. By the apex of the pyramid, electromagnetic radiation in the form of light, radio waves, and microwaves are channeled and focused into these chambers and the pyramid base. The angle and resonant frequency of the tip funnels scattered wave energy. Nanoparticles are created in the stone material they use to construct it, which have potential applications in nanosensors and more effective solar cells. Intelligent design by coincidence? Number 6. Meteorite jewelry. Although the Egyptians may have been master builders, they were limited by the technology of the time. There was no wheel, and bronze was the only metal they could mine and work with. We thought so at least. The 5,000-year-old tomb on the outskirts of Cairo was otherwise unremarkable, except for one strange piece of fine iron jewelry. Then, how could ferrous beads have been made 1,000 years before Egypt's Iron Age? Stars provide the answer. The meteorites that fall to Earth are mostly iron ferrite with a little bit of nickel thrown in for good measure. In a religion that places great emphasis on the cosmos, such precious metal gifts would have been the ultimate symbol of status. How they get the fire hot enough to melt the iron remains a mystery. Number 5. Dendera light. The Egyptians may have had electric lamps 1,000 years before Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, depending on who you ask. There are some of the best examples of ancient hieroglyphics and carvings at the Temple of Hathor at Dendera. However, one small section stands out from the rest. It depicts what can only be described as primitive lights. The cable travels along the floor to a lotus-based connection, which leads to a glass container with a snake-like filament and signs resembling a crux tube, which was used to discover cathode rays and streams of electrons. The Norwegian electrical engineer was the first to point out the similarities between the two structures, and the nearby inscriptions speak about the light of God as backing up this hypothesis. Number 4. The Tomb of the Silver Pharaoh. The first city is widely regarded as one of the greatest discoveries in history. The tomb was discovered by Egyptologist Pierre Monet during World War II. When he discovered what he had discovered, he got the shock of his life. Every two-time comments on the final resting place do not even begin to describe the sheer scale of opulence in the tomb. The vast chamber is decorated with an abundance of jewels and rare metals, but the centerpiece is what stands out. It is the only sarcophagus made entirely of pure silver. Craftsmanship is of the highest order, with a level of detail thought to be beyond the capabilities of even the most talented metalworkers of the time. He wears a solid gold death mask over his face, a sign of opulence, wealth, and power. Egypt was in the midst of a civil war under his reign, which makes this display all the more puzzling. Number 3. The Saqqara Bird. From all the artifacts found at the Saqqara archaeological site, there is one that stands out as extremely odd and out of place. Thousands of years before the Wright brothers took off from the ground, this wooden statue looks more like an aircraft than a bird. The facial features are similar to those of a hawk, but that's all. With an upright tail, the wings look like they came straight off a jumbo jet. Instead of feet, the bird has a smooth fuselage. There is a school of thought that the statue once featured a horizontal stabilizer. Using the exact measurements, scientists have recreated a scale model that flies, providing a lift force 4 times greater than the gliders. What would ancient Egyptians know about rudimentary aerodynamics? Number 2. Gods on Earth. Curious carvings adorn the walls of the ruins of the Osiris Hall, dedicated to the Lord of the Underworld. The ancient Egyptians believed the gods once walked among us and were often depicted with great overheads that looked otherworldly. Pharaoh Akhenaten ascended to the throne in 1352 BC, and statues of his effigy show his abnormally long head. It is not known if this skull was bound as a child to achieve the inhuman shape of the crater guns. It's very likely that a genetic mutation led to the skull growing in such a strange way, but fossilized remains found that are considered candidates support this theory, since the fossilized skull has a large bulge at the rear. Before we get to our top pick, make sure you subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to get notified of our latest video. Number 1. Hidden mathematical knowledge. How were the pyramids built? It is one of the great mysteries of all time. Why is there such a great amount of mathematical knowledge encoded in their dimensions? The Great Pyramid is aligned to within 3/60 of a degree of true north with an accuracy that at the time was impossible, and would be only possible with modern instruments. The unit of measure was the royal cubit, or 1.86 feet. You might not think that is very impressive until you realize that it is exactly 125 million of the distance between the north and south poles of the Earth. Think about it for a moment. Even though ancient Egyptians did not have the wheel, they were aware of the remarkable fractional dimension of our globe. The base side length is 365.242 cubits, which is a pretty familiar number. We call it an even 365 days a year and add an extra day every 4th leap year, because that's exactly how long it takes for the Earth to orbit the Sun. Which one was your favorite? Why don't you let us know in the comments below? That's our countdown of 10 strangest things discovered in Egypt. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a like and let us know in the comments what you think. Check out our other videos and subscribe to be part of the Daily Tops. And that's it for now.